Guest this week is Bruins winger Chris Wagner. Wags, thanks for joining us. And let's just get the sort of big news or the big topic out of the way first. Just your reaction to the news yesterday that Tuukka was opting out and going home, and just sort of what you thought, what you knew about it, and sort of what the team is feeling right now.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat as far as supporting him. I definitely think it was probably a difficult decision for him. I think he wants to be here and wants to win just like all of us. But at the same time, like guys have been reiterating, family is most important. Even if it is a job and, it is playing hockey, but still family comes before everything. And Tuukka felt like he needed to be home, and we all support that decision.
Look, I'm from Massachusetts. You're from Massachusetts. I know massholes. You know massholes. There are Bruins fans out there that's supportive of Tuukka. I'll freely admit, if I didn't have the choice to come up to Toronto, I just wasn't going. The company wasn't going to allow it, but I wouldn't have gone because I have young kids, and I know it's a difficult decision for everybody. So I think there's a lot of understanding about, the sacrifices being made going there and the sacrifices being made while you're there. But obviously there's another faction of the sports fandom in Boston, Bruins fans, and they're on Twitter and they're saying, Tuukka quit on the team in the middle of a playoff series and throwing a lot of stuff out there. Just your reaction to that, and also just what it's like for you guys up there right now, face these decisions of sacrificing, missing your families, missing familiarity, everything and that while also trying to play playoff hockey and all the stuff that's going into the decisions you guys are making.
Yeah, my initial reaction to people who, bash Tuukka, they don't know, people don't know what we're going through, and we don't know what those people are going through. So everybody is coming from a different place, and that's how, opinions are formed. But you got to respect where someone's coming from, no matter whether it be hockey or, politics these days, and kind of take it for what it is, because I'm sure, there would be a lot of people who would want to be in our shoes, but at the same time, they don't know what we're missing. I don't have kids, so I can't speak for Tukes like that, but I'm sure that's a whole nother level of, missing someone and, wanting to be there for your kid if they're struggling and they miss you. And I can't speak to that, but like you said, you wouldn't have come up here because you want to be with your kids. And, I think Tuukka tried to power through that, but there were some things that, he felt he needed to sort out. So like I said, we respect and support his decision on that.
How much are you missing home? How much are you missing, things in Boston, your family, your friends, everything that you have back there? How tough it's going, close to 3 weeks now that you guys have been up there. And obviously if things go well, it's still going to be for a lot longer. How are you doing at this point, just being away from home?
Yeah, I think the first week or two, it's kind of it's easier because it's all new and you get to hang around the guys. And then I think the weeks, last week I think was tough because it was the round robin still, and you're like, all right, get me to the playoff games and play the really meaningful games. Not that the round robins weren't meaningful, but I don't know. And then it being in summer too, which we usually have off, is kind of different for all of us. But yeah, I mean, I miss my family, my girlfriend, my friends, and they're out, doing, going on boats or golfing or going down the Cape, and you'd like to be there, but duty calls, and we still have a chance to win a Stanley Cup, and that's what's most important for us right now.
Let's be honest, you guys didn't care that much about the round robin, right? That was, obviously seeding's important.
Yeah, I did.
You're working on your game.
Yeah.
But it's clear you guys had your sights set on getting ready for the playoffs, and even seeding really with no home ice advantage has a very limited importance in this series. So for the good teams, the experienced teams, it seems like the round robin, it wasn't about results. It was about getting ready for what was next.
Yeah, I think Butchie said it a lot. It was more of a get our game ready to play, the playoff games and the elimination games. And I said that, I forget who I said this to, but you still play to win the game. It's just not the end of the world if you lose one or two or three, because it is seeding. and we would have liked to have the 1 seed, but it is what it is, and that's last week, and now we're on to Carolina and focusing on game number 4.
Take me through the day yesterday, getting on the bus, learning that Tuukka opted out. Was it pretty shocking, surprising? It seems like a lot of people sort of knew he was conflicted and having a hard time, so maybe it wasn't that much of a surprise. But just sort of from beginning to end yesterday and dealing with that news and then getting ready to play.
Yeah, I kind of knew a little earlier in the morning than some guys. But yeah, for me it was weird. I didn't really expect it, but at the same time I knew he was probably going through some things like a lot of guys with kids are too. So yeah, and then when you find that out, you're kind of shocked at first, and you want Tukes to be here, and he has been the goalie here for a while, but it's also a blessing that we have Jaro, who's our backup, and he's been a number 1 goaltender in this league, and we believe him. And then I thought, he came out a little slow in the first 10 minutes, but after that, I think we really turned it on, and Jaro played great, and I think the team had a pretty great response, and that's kind of what makes us a strong tight-knit group. We're able to, I don't know if every team could overcome something like that. If your quarterback or starting point guard just had to go home and deal with some things, but we were able to have a quick turnaround and get a big W.
How important is that leadership group? Starting with Zdeno and Patrice and Brad Marchand and Krejci, and going down to you and Charlie and Tori and all the veteran guys that have been around, and also the veteran guys that have been with the Bruins for a while. How important is that dynamic to dealing with stuff like this that gets thrown at you, hours before you're supposed to play a playoff game with a lot of importance?
Yeah, I think it's so important because, those guys are so businesslike with everything they do, but at the same time, they're compassionate. And, we can talk about how we're feeling and whatever, but they still, use all those emotions and everything to get you fired up to play the game. And they all lead by example too. So you can't help but not follow their lead. And when they are, they're down to earth too. They're not just, robots. They get what everybody's feeling. So I think they take everything like that into account, and that's what helps the team.
What's it been like for you the last few years to get the sort of front row seat to see how that leadership group works? You obviously saw it from the outside when you were playing for other teams, and you saw it, when you were a kid in Boston area growing up and watching the Bruins, and some of these guys were on those teams. What's it been like to just watch how the inner workings are and how they go about leading the team, the guys at the top?
Yeah, it's pretty cool since, Z's been playing since I was like 9 or something. And, I watched Bergie get drafted when I was like 13. So, yeah, I still, there's some days I'm still like, wow, that's Patrice Bergeron and Zdeno Chara, and I'm on their team. And Kretsch too, and even Marshy when I was, 20 and they won the cup. So, yeah, it's surreal sometimes for me. I think I'm definitely more used to it than last year. I think I had more walk around the locker room and be like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening. But after, 2+ years, I'm pretty honored to call them all my friends and teammates. So to see the way they work the locker room and how hard they work in practice and off the ice and on the ice and take care of themselves, and also are worried about, the well-being of their teammates and supporting their teammates. It's pretty cool and special to be a part of.
Is it like that in other NHL dressing rooms? Is it not like that in other ones that you've been in? Like, not to call anybody out, but
no. I've been in different dynamics. I've been on younger teams and teams that aren't doing well too. But yeah, guys have different personalities, and guys haven't been on the same team for how long's Bergie been on this team? 14 years, and Z's been on it for 12 years. So it's different in that aspect because you're not having a passing of the flag or anything. So to have those guys and Kretsch too, and Marshy too. You know, they came up in the system, and they've been here since they got drafted as well. So I think that goes a long way to, you know, the organization found these guys and they stuck with them, and they're kind of the pillars for our team right now. And that makes a difference instead of having new guys come in and out, because these guys are all comfortable with each other, which makes probably the new guys feel comfortable too. So yeah, it is different than, you know, some other locker room dynamics on it. I mean, it's good here, but not to say other places are bad too.
You touched on this a little bit, but just how confident is the confidence level that you have in Jaro Halak? You know, not only how he's performed for you guys working with Tuukka the last couple of years, but that he's a proven playoff guy that has you know, carried teams in playoff series before, and he brings that experience and that ability to the table in a situation where he's kind of being thrust in there.
Yeah, we're fully confident in him. I've seen him. What did he win? He pretty much won a playoff series. Was that
against the Capitals
back
in
in
2010?
Right? Yeah, like by himself. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, he's been there. I mean, it is 10 years later, but he still looks like a spring chicken to me. No, he competes in practice. He's an older goalie, I guess, in this league, but he still, you know, competes, clearly loves the game and loves winning too. So yeah, it's pretty awesome that, you know, you have that number 2 guy, and it happens to be Jaro.
You scored goals in a couple of the round robin games. Seems like your game is in a pretty good place. You know, Nordy's blocking a lot of shots. Corrali's playing with energy. I thought Power Lindholm was really good yesterday in that game. I thought you've brought the physicality and you've brought some offense at times. You feel like your game and your line's game is in a pretty good place right now to start off here the first few games?
Yeah, Nordy's been eating pucks all over the place. And then I thought Par was awesome yesterday to jump in after a couple games off. Was pretty special. And, you know, obviously Sean's going to skate and, you know, do a lot of cutbacks and corners and stuff. So then he got a big goal last night too. So yeah, I felt pretty good. My legs have felt really good. And yeah, I've actually got to play with the puck a little bit too, and get a couple shots on goal. So I think our whole thing is the forecheck and being relentless on the puck, and, you know, kind of wearing other teams down, especially if you're playing against the Aho line or Trocheck. You want to keep them there, and they usually get frustrated, and that's usually a fun sight to see for us.
It goes without saying, but how much do you enjoy those responsibilities when you get them lining up against guys like Aho or Trocheck or whoever the top skill guys are for the other team?
Yeah, it puts a smile on my face. Even if we don't score and they don't score, I mean, that's a win for us. And then, you know, when they start chirping at you, that's why I smile, because I think it's funny. Because
when you know you're in the kitchen a little bit.
Yeah, you know, they're frustrated and they're complaining to the refs. It's just, you know, it's just fun for me. I kind of picked up that role when my first year in the A. I knew I wasn't going to be a skill guy to make it to the National Hockey League, and you kind of had to be that agitator and, you know, checker and, you know, forechecker too. But yeah, I don't know why, it's something I enjoy.
What's the atmosphere been like for you in these games? No fans, having to create energy on the ice when you're out there for shifts, having to create energy on the bench. I know, you know, Butchie mentioned Marshy yesterday on the bench after that Halak mistake turned into a goal, that he's like, you know, we're playing fine. We've got nothing to worry about. How important is just talking on the bench, bringing energy and you know, just counteracting what I'm sure is for you guys a strange thing with no fans being out there and you know, trying to create that energy by yourselves?
Yeah, the talk on the bench is probably the most important aspect, I think, to creating your own energy. Because, the fans do bring that element that you can't bring, you know, as a team sitting on the bench. But, I don't know. I still feel like the games are highly competitive and they're pretty chippy as far as I'm concerned. There can be lulls in the game, I guess, that fans would maybe fill the void, but yeah, when we're talking on the bench and, you know, you're kind of patting each other on the back and, you know, because you don't hear the crowd roar when you do something well. You need your teammates to say, great job and whatever. And that means a lot. And that kind of fills up your energy and gets you ready for the next shift. So us talking, you know, stuff like that happens all the time. You know, Marshy saying something like that or Bergie or whatever. But you can hear it way more now with no fans. So it kind of echoes throughout the rink too, probably. But yeah, it's very important.
Oh yeah, no, you can when Nordy's eating the pucks, you can hear Nordy from the bench. There's no question about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, with the atmosphere the way it is, with you know, with Tuukka opting out, I think there's an obvious like question or curiosity. Do you feel like is anybody else on the team that is conflicted like that? I'm sure everybody with young kids is. I would be too. But it seems to me, watching the games, that the guys that are out there playing are playoff intensity like you're talking about. Like, if you didn't notice there was no fans in the stands, I don't think you would notice much of a difference between what you're seeing on the ice in these games and what you would in a normal Stanley Cup playoff game. It seems like everybody else, like everybody that's there now on your team, is all in on trying to get a cup and playing as hard as you can and bringing that playoff intensity.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. And then, I mean, I'm out there for our games, but watching the other games too, they're physical and demanding. And, you know, there's, it's kind of a lot of up and downs without the fans, you know, like promoting that. Like when you go back and forth the ice, you can feel the energy. And, you know, everybody wants to win. And we still, you know, we say it every day, we're still playing for a Stanley Cup last time we checked. So, we're going to try to win and compete and reach that goal.
Up 2-1 in the series now. Excellent game the other day, given all the circumstances, winning without Pasta with Tuukka opting out. What things that you guys are doing do you want to do more of in stress, and what adjustments are you trying to make as the series goes on here?
Yeah, I mean, just winning pucks on the wall in the defensive zone. They're a really hard forechecking team. I think they were one of the best statistically, whatever those weird analytics are.
Call those fancy stats, Wags.
Yeah, I know. I can't keep up with those. There's too many. But yeah, so if you can break the puck out and get in their zone, I think we'll be fine at the end of the day. And then once we get in their zone, they play a strict man-to-man. And if, you know, guys hold on to the puck and, you know, we create possession plays and then finally get it to the net and retrieve it, I think we'll be all right. Yeah, it's funny. It's different playing man-to-man. Not every team does it, but when you do, you have to expose it by, you know, winning your one-on-one battles and out-competing the guy, you know, across from you.
All right, let's end this with a couple of fun questions. A lot of the guys I talk to in the dressing room, they talk about, like, how grouchy you are. I know Chris Kelly used to get this all the time when he played, that he was like the grouch. And apparently, like, you've taken on that mantle as the, like, grouchy guy in the dressing room or whatever. Like, where does that come from? Do you think you're grouchy? Do you think they're just like accentuating stuff, making stuff up? What's going on?
I think they're over promoting that. I just say I'm a realist. I mean, if someone wants to know what I think or what I think, they ask me and I'll tell you. It's not, you know, I wouldn't say I don't fake anything. So I try to stick to that. I wouldn't say I'm grouchy, but I guess maybe that's how I come off. But I mean, I still get along with everyone in the team, and they kind of make fun of me for that. That's fine. Just like, you know, we said JD is a clown, and I mean, it's funny that Torrey says that too, because, you know, he comes in sometimes a little sluggish and slow, and I don't say anything to him.
We call that projecting, when you're
exactly.
One thing and you're trying to throw it on somebody else.
Yeah, he is deflecting, projecting, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, I think that honestly, that's just part of, like, where we're from. Like, we kind of just tell it like it is.
As well.
There's no bull crap, you know?
No, yeah. Some guys can't handle that, but when I was in Cali, those people didn't like it that much. Not the guys on my team, the people in California.
Yeah, that's a whole different vibe altogether. A little soft out there.
Yeah.
And like finally, favorite guy on your team that you've hung out with in the bubble, and your least favorite guy to be stuck with when you're in the bubble these last few weeks?
Least favorite's JD. I mean, that's an easy. We all say it every time.
Why is that?
No, he would just say that. I would say, I don't know. We have like a small rivalry, I think.
Sure.
So yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be stuck with him. My favorite person to be stuck with, geez. I don't even want to say it, but I mean, I've hung out with Tori a lot. So I guess he's pretty funny sometimes. So I don't mind being stuck with him. Or Sean, the room next to me, probably listening to this. So
He hasn't banged on the walls yet?
Yeah, I know. He hasn't. Yeah, I haven't said anything to piss him off yet. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Wags. I appreciate that. That's the first episode of Hags and Wags in the book. Great success.
Yeah. My buddies are actually just saying that. We should start a show like that.
Nice. Yeah. Talk to you, bud. Thank you.
All right. No problem.
Good luck up there.
Yeah. Have a good one, bud.
You too.